May the come to order. Court is again in session.
Thank you, Deputy Jones. On the Murray case, Dr. Murray is present with his counsel as before. The people by their counsel as before. All jurors and alternates are present. Good afternoon, everybody. To the gentlemen and ladies of the jury, good afternoon. At this time, the people have an opportunity to present a rebuttal argument. Mr. Walgren.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I will be brief, ladies and gentlemen, but I do want to touch on a few things that were stated by Mr. Chernoff. First of all, let's be absolutely clear. We are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is because of the actions and the failures to act of Conrad Murray. Now, the cameras may be here because of Michael Jackson, but we are here because of the actions of Conrad Murray, because of the bizarre, grossly negligent, criminally negligent actions of Conrad Murray that caused the death of Michael Jackson. That is why we are here. So don't be fooled by statements of Mr. Chernoff that the only reason this case is here is because Michael Jackson. What Conrad Murray did has never been done before. You heard from the experts in this case. No one has ever seen propofol administered outside of a hospital setting, let alone in a bedroom, in a remote upstairs room such as what occurred in this case. No expert has ever heard of such a thing. This is not just kind of a deviation or an error in judgment. This is criminal, gross negligence, administering an agent that causes respiratory failure if not used properly, that causes death, and doing it as a one-man operation with no equipment, no safety measures, nothing. This has never been seen before. This is bizarre, unethical, unconscionable behavior. That is why we are here. Mr. Chernoff spoke about that somehow he said I discounted the character witnesses. Actually, that's not what I said at all. What I said is I'm certain they believe every word they said. I'm certain their hearts were treated in a hospital setting with monitors and backup personnel, and they got the treatment they deserved. What I did say is that is in stark contrast to what Michael Jackson got from Conrad Murray. He did not have monitors or a team or a hospital setting, nor was he being treated for a heart condition. He was being treated for apparently insomnia, something of which Conrad Murray knows nothing about. What I did say additionally about the character witnesses is why didn't they call on a witness that was being currently treated by Conrad Murray instead of calling some from a decade past? But I'm certain when they were treated in a hospital with a heart monitor and backup personnel and all the care and the paperwork and the safety measures, I'm sure they did receive good care. That has nothing to do with the care or lack thereof given to Michael Jackson in this case. Poor Conrad Murray. Everyone is just working against him. They blame Alyssa Fleek. They blame Alberto Alvarez. They blame Dr. Schaefer. They blame Kai Chase. They blame AEG. They blame Randy Phillips, Michael Amir Williams, Fahim Muhammad, Arnold Klein. Everybody but Conrad Murray. Poor Conrad Murray. Remember back when they called Mr. Rubin to the stand, and they inquired of Mr. Rubin, what was Conrad Murray's demeanor like? Wasn't he grieving? Didn't he appear sad? Mr. Rubin commented on, yeah, he seemed, I don't remember what his exact words were, but he seemed that he was upset or whatever his exact words may have been. Because it's about Conrad Murray. How was he grieving? What were his emotions like? Poor Conrad Murray. Then I asked Mr. Rubin, let's talk about demeanor. Let's talk about grieving. Let's talk about what you witnessed. When Dr. Cooper was seen going into a room to talk to Michael's mother, Mrs. Jackson, and Mr. Rubin had to sit outside and hear the crying and grieving of a mother who just lost her son. But poor Conrad Murray, what was his emotional state? I'm certain he was grieving. He's responsible for taking the life of a man through his gross negligence. So Michael Jackson's to blame. Alberto Alvarez is lying. Alyssa Fleek apparently is lying. Steve Schaefer is a cop. Kai Chase failed to apparently, I don't know what, get security, or how this falls on her, I don't know. You have a medical doctor in the house who cares so little that he has not called 911, and defense counsel has the nerve to get up here and blame the chef in the kitchen, that she is somehow responsible. If allowed more time to argue, I'm certain they would figure out a way to blame it on Michael's son, Prince. Everyone is to blame but Conrad Murray. You know, if Alberto Alvarez wanted to lie or come up with some tale to, for unknown reasons, pin some case on Conrad Murray, he could have done a lot better than this bizarre saline bag with a bottle in it. He told you what he saw. He told you what he saw. And Alyssa Fleek told you that when she went into the Costco bag, she found the bottle inside the cut saline bag. But now it's a conspiracy between this coroner's investigator, Alyssa Fleek, the security guard, Alberto Alvarez. Neither one of them knowing that this bottle or bag has any significance whatsoever. But they're now in a conspiracy because poor Conrad Murray. Counsel comments on this, the bizarre bag. Why would the bottle be in it? Everything Conrad Murray did in his treatment was bizarre. He waited 20 minutes to even bother to have someone call 911. That is bizarre. He gave propofol to an individual every night in a bedroom for 2 months. That is bizarre. He lied to the paramedics about giving propofol. He lied to the UCLA surgeons about giving propofol. That is bizarre. Does it surprise you that he would have some unusual setup for the saline bag? Again, we don't know why it was set up that way. As I mentioned earlier, maybe it somehow hid it a little bit in case Michael's children came in. We don't know. We do know from Conrad Murray that Michael was sensitive to getting all the medical stuff cleaned up each day. But everything this doctor did was bizarre. None of it was consistent with a trained, competent medical doctor who was putting his patient first. Michael Jackson, it's his fault. It's his fault that Conrad Murray left him alone in the room. It's his fault. Did Michael Jackson, as I stated earlier, seek the propofol to help him sleep? No doubt about it. But there's a list of doctors that said no, because that would be dangerous and harmful. And there's one doctor that said yes. For $150,000 a month, yes. Poor Conrad Murray. Michael Jackson is dead. And we have to hear about poor Conrad Murray. And no doctor knows what it's like to be in his shoes. You've got that right. Because I have not seen a doctor in this case who testified that they would ever do what Conrad Murray did. Ever. Including the defense experts. Now, we didn't hear anything about Dr. White's science, did we? All the simulations, all his theories about the simulation and the urine, we didn't hear a word about it. Because, as I said before, it was junk science. Steve Schaefer came in here pro bono, no payment, and told the truth. He provided simulations. The simulations defense counsel ridicules, Steve Schaefer told you he rejected. He was giving you examples. He told you on the stand, before the defense even questioned him, that he rejected those simulations. the oral lorazepam. Steve Schaefer said that that would be possible as long as it was outside the 4-hour window. He didn't say that didn't happen. He said it wouldn't happen at 10 o'clock a.m. as the defense was trying to put forth in their hypothetical. He said that's impossible based on the absorption and the science. But it could have happened sooner, sure. And we don't know if it did happen, if it happened by Conrad Murray giving him some pills to help him sleep. We don't know. According to Dr. White, though, it would have happened when, again, Conrad Murray was out of the room once again. Conrad Murray is a medical doctor that assumed the care of Michael Jackson. It doesn't change because it's even in a more bizarre scenario of being in a bedroom. If he was a medical doctor in a hospital, in a clinic, in a surgery suite, he has a legal duty of care to monitor and ensure the safety of his patient that is under his care. The law recognizes this as a legal duty. Counsel talked about causation. Conrad Murray administered the propofol. Let's talk about direct causation. Had Conrad Murray not abandoned his patient, this wouldn't have happened. If Conrad Murray had monitoring equipment with alarms, this wouldn't have happened. If Conrad Murray knew how to effectively resuscitate a patient, this wouldn't have happened. But the law here, too, recognizes that it need be only a natural and probable consequence. If you administer propofol in a bedroom, a natural and probable consequence is there could be death. That is true. That is a fact. It's a respiratory depressant. It has unpredictable effects, as Dr. White said, as Dr. Schaefer said. It affects different patients in different ways. It's dependent on your fasting, how much food you ate, are you dehydrated, are there other drugs in your system? It is because of these variables that Dr. White spent an hour and a half talking about. It is because of these variables that you need to have the safety precautions in place. Because it is a natural and probable consequence that a patient would react to propofol in that manner. And it is entirely foreseeable and predictable. Dr. White, from the video I showed you earlier, would not leave a patient alone if he knew he liked to push propofol in that scenario. He would not leave him alone, because he knows what the natural and probable consequences would be. The issue, again, that Alberto Alvarez is lying. You know, if Alberto Alvarez wanted to lie, couldn't he have just said, I walked into the room and Conrad Murray was hiding bottles. Conrad Murray told me he fell asleep. Conrad Murray told me he had been in the other room sleeping and an infusion line killed Michael Jackson. I mean, if he wanted to lie, there's no evidence he had any animosity toward Conrad Murray. In fact, he thought he was, by all accounts, a fine doctor. Alberto Alvarez has no position in this case. This has been nothing but a nightmare for him. He told you the truth. For whatever significance the bag and bottle has to you as jurors, Alberto Alvarez told you what he found, what he saw. And Alyssa Fleek told you she found a bag with a bottle in it inside the Costco bag. What position does she have in this case? She's a coroner's investigator. She came in and told you what she collected and what she found. Detective Scott Smith told you he was in and out of the room taking photographs. He didn't see the bag removed. He saw it when it was laid out on the table. You can review your notes, review the transcript. He's telling the truth. He didn't see it in the bag. That's absolutely the truth. He said he was in and out, and when he came in, the bag was laid out and the bottle was on top of it. This isn't some master conspiracy between Alberto Alvarez and Alyssa Fleek and whomever